I'd love to share a testimony with you. 7 months ago, I suddenly became quite ill with a heart illness and found myself being unable to work. And I had just moved out of my childhood home at this point and was just settling into adulthood. I had lots of bills to pay and found myself with no income. And throughout this illness, God's given me so much peace, but multiple times I found myself in a position where I really couldn't see where the provision or where the miracles would come from. And I had to look beyond the situation and choose to put my faith in Him and not in my own understanding. And maybe you can relate to that in any financial situations you're in, or just any situations in general. And it's in the story that follows that I really pray will encourage you. And it definitely encourages me just remembering and looking back on these things. But throughout this process and this season, I've really seen miracle after miracle, and God's just had His hand over the whole thing. Some examples I'd love to share are a government process that should have taken 2 weeks ended up only taking 24 hours, which is like unheard of. God put on multiple people's hearts to bless me when I was really needing financial help, and I didn't even mention it to them. They just out of the blue said that God had put on their hearts to bless me, which is incredible. And thousands of dollars of medical bills have been I didn't have to pay for them. Some incredible people, my grandparents, God's really used them to help me in this season. And this is a nice one. I've had 3 free holidays booked for the next 2 months, which is like, when does that happen? So God's really taken something that would be negative with the not being well enough to work, and He's just completely turned the situation around and provided in incredible ways. He's also really blessed my small business, Eliza Faith, which I do art through, and once again He's just shown me incredibly how He has His hand over absolutely everything. And throughout this season, even when I was in that place that I shared with you before of not knowing where the miracle might come from, God always provided. But while I was still in that space, it was really important to me to still give and to still trust God with all the finances that I did have. Let me share this verse with you. Proverbs 3 verses 9 to 10 says, "Honor the Lord with your possessions and the first fruits of all your increase. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will be overfilling with new wine." So I want to encourage you, as you put Him above everything and honor Him with your possessions, God will generously provide all that you need, and then everything that you need and plenty left over to share with others. So plant generously and get excited as God enables you to reap a generous crop.